Hey everyone, it's time for another episode of Midcard Mana. We have over here Loose Cannon, and we're going to try something a little bit different today. Hopefully it works. Oh. Now, I don't know if he's actually in here because it has camera off and also no microphone. So we're going to see. There we go. Oh. Knock, knock. You gotta turn the camera on, good brother. Oh man, where did it all go?
I didn't think I was having to do any guest appearances, so kind of trimmed down.
Yeah, you really went, way different from your usual aesthetic. People are gonna be like, "Who is this?
Who's this guy?" Yeah, you should have seen my son, who has never seen me clean shaven.
Did he start crying?
Yeah, he didn't know who it was at first. So, yeah. It was like, who is this? I'm like, dude, we look alike. Like, he's the guy with the beard.
Yeah, this is a suspicious character all of a sudden.
Right? I don't know. Top of the morning to you.
Yeah, it is 6 a.m. in Hawaii.
You're on my time.
Yeah. So just so everyone understands, what we're doing here is we're waking up at 6 a.m. to record this for content for all of you. So you're welcome.
I guess, yeah. I mean,
because it's been a while since we both recorded together.
It has.
Yeah.
It's been a long while. It's been a while since I've recorded. Period. Really.
I mean, hey, you've been doing the podcast stuff on Anchor.
A little bit.
Thanks for the invites, by the way.
Huh?
Thanks for the invites, by the way.
Hey, you're hard to nail down. And the Anchor stuff we do kind of sporadically. I haven't done much over there lately. It's just with everything going on in the wrestling world, there's not a lot of news really. I mean, there is and there is. Yeah.
There's also way less. I mean, there's more time with everything going on, but because now everything is suddenly a lot of schedules are more open, people are now using this time to be like, I gotta do this and this and this and this and this and this and this.
I'm way more busy now than I mean, I am and I'm not, it's like everything's packed in now, but before, like, I'd have 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, so not so much now. Always a kid around.
I mean, there's 2 kids around for you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think actually this is the first time that we've recorded together since you've had your second child.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's been like a year.
It has been, about there. Probably more. I think it was last time was
over
back when Dr. Pepper, Daniel Paul.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name was in this. That's how it's been so long that I just now dropped his real name.
It's probably been like a year and a half since we actually recorded something, I think.
I believe that.
Yeah. But now we got the Zoom thing going on here.
Yeah.
So
hopefully more of our people will join, but it is also early in the morning for them. Not as early as it is for us. But
my fault, by the way, because I got to do these things before everybody wakes up. Hopefully they don't wake up from the voices.
Just all of a sudden, you're just gonna hear Dad.
So, yeah.
All right.
I have not watched Raw yet. I went to watch it last night, but it wasn't on demand yet. Like, come on, people! Everybody's at home waiting.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel weird about, and I've said this on a couple other things too, but I feel weird about Raw and SmackDown and NXT and everything without the audience.
Yeah.
And I talked about this with a couple of my other friends, but no, things feel less impactful because you don't hear the audience going, oh, like there's less audience reaction. So then you're just sort of like, wow, I know that was kind of a stiff looking move, but it doesn't feel like it as much because now it's just me alone in my room watching this and reacting to it rather than everyone collectively reacting to it, the audience over there and myself.
I think you can just see their faces.
Yeah.
You know, I can watch wrestling on mute, but you see the reaction from the crowd, like, oh,
yeah,
something like that. And yeah, I mean, I think it even has an impact, at least as far as what they're booking, because like the women's, I have no idea what they're doing with the women's division, because it's like, oh, we're gonna have Asuka versus Shayna versus Nia. I'm like, aren't they all heel? It's like, have we seen a women's face since this whole thing has gone on? And I'm like, no, I don't think we have. I mean, we've had just like the heels is it, and then they go out there and wrestle, and you don't get a fan response. So it's like, who's the good guy in this match? Do I even care? I haven't even been watching them because I don't care. I'm like, heel versus heel. No, not for me. So it's like, I don't know, over on SmackDown, maybe they're face versus face. I have no idea.
Not really. I mean,
not really. No.
Before we talk about SmackDown women, we got another one of our good brothers over here, Kyle, who's joined in. I don't know if he can hear us, but we can't hear or see you. So.
Is it Kyle? Is it John Cena? Nobody knows. Why does he get an introduction like that? And I don't get my, entrance theme going.
You don't know if I was humming the Fiend's entrance music before this.
Yeah, I do, because I had it on.
So yeah, SmackDown women, it's interesting in that they've kind of booked themselves into a weird corner. So now the two people, now the two people that have been traditionally heels for a lot of their time in the WWE /career, etc., are now the faces against Sasha and Bayley. So Sasha and Bayley have been the heels. Bayley had the heel turn, remember, and then did the whole image change, cut her hair, or changed entrance music, stabbed the Bayley buddies, real dramatic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
I loved the Bayley heel turn, and then it was like a month later, she did something else heel, and then everybody was going, "Ooh, Bayley turned heel." I'm like, she's been heel for like a month. It's like I don't understand.
She worked the house show over here on Oahu as a heel.
Oh, nice.
It was great. She was popping that gum real loud. She barely acknowledged the crowd except one sign that said, "Bayley is my role model."
Uh-huh.
And this is when she was still coming out to her face entrance. And before, she stabbed the Bayley buddies.
What I hate right now is they're coming out and acknowledging an audience without their one being there.
Yeah. My favorite stuff is when they totally pretend like, or when they stop pretending that there's an audience. There's a couple of people that actually just have dropped the facade, and I think it works.
It's so much like you acknowledge the people at home.
Yeah,
but there's an audience, so why are you playing up to a crowd? Why are you there's nobody there.
Silence.
You know, it drives me crazy when they come out and they're like, yeah, no, we know there's nobody. We know you know there's nobody there.
No,
your
my
whole
favorite
audience is the announcers.
Yeah.
I don't want
and like Biggie says, people at home. That I love. I thought that was genius. I like how he does that now.
Has done this idea better than WWE by having
their wrestlers, their performers
in the audience. Even if it's just 10 guys, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
And then if you had Bayley come out and Sasha come out and they're like, yeah, to their to the bad guys, and the bad guys cheer, it makes so much more sense. The good guys boo, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. It also makes alignment to people that maybe don't get it much clearer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good shit. I love it.
Turn your camera on, Kyle.
I know. I'm at work. Give me a minute, damn it.
I'll be just see Big K.
Hang on. I'm getting back into the truck. Hang on a second.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
This is the content that Midcard Mana needs. We need these views, Kyle. This is going to shoot us up. Yeah, this is going to bring us all the way to the top.
To the top. Give me
to the top.
Oh, there you go. Oh, sweet Jesus, Mike.
Yep.
Go on, Kyle.
Go on, Sammy. Been a long time.
It has. This is gonna be great. I can't wait for you to wreck live on this show.
Yeah.
Or something. Sure. I know it's gonna be something. It's always something.
Yeah, we got one. Now the subscriber count's just gonna skyrocket.
Oh yeah, sure is.
Hey, you have no idea how much a little bit of that gets people.
I will say this on the podcast, the Square Circle Dream podcast. When I have Kyle on, he hits the toot, hey, big numbers.
I'm sure this YouTube video will get more than 10 views.
Hey.
I sure hope so.
I hope so too.
You should probably rip this for a podcast for those that don't want a YouTube.
I mean, you can always just YouTube to MP3 it and then upload it as a podcast.
Right.
Yeah, this is all recording and is going to be put on the cloud. I bought the I bought the Zoom thing to do this specifically.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would just like everybody to know, we talked about earlier how we haven't recorded in a good while. Doesn't mean we haven't been in communication, but I would just like everyone to know that I believe you have seen Christopher Daniels more than you've seen me the last 2 years.
That might be true. Actually, no. Which one is true? In the last 2 years, so thinking from May 2018 to now,
mm-hmm.
I think I've seen Kota Ibushi more than I've seen you. I think that's a guarantee because I saw him in Texas. I saw him in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't see him in Tampa, but he was in Tampa. He was just sick, so he couldn't wrestle.
Well, yeah. I'm holding that over your head right now. It's like yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make me feel bad at all.
It should.
It should.
God damn it. All right, yeah, but I think AEW definitely does the crowd thing better. I think if WWE was taking notes, I don't know who they have left to put in the audience since they fired everybody. But yeah, maybe have NXT on Raw or SmackDown on Raw in the audience.
I mean, NXT on Raw would work because Charlotte's also performing on Raw too for some reason as the NXT Women's Champion.
That's just
so
me.
Let's
That's what I would do.
Cross the streams all the way. If you're gonna do that, you might as well just throw them all in. Say these stars will perform exclusively or wrestle exclusively on these shows, but then just have them around anyway. If Charlotte can jump around.
Like we're talking, we're after WrestleMania, so it's all gonna get mixed up.
Why would you do that if you can come out and wave to the non-fans? I mean, there's nobody there, but we're gonna look right at them.
Right. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, I know.
They come out and they look at the audience that's not there and taunt. It's annoying. I mean,
it just makes it feel disingenuous. You know it's already we know it's already an act.
Right.
But the whole point is that you're trying to sell it to us. So if you're selling it to us by being by pointing to someone in the audience that isn't there and just being like, ooh, it's like, what is this? Like,
honestly, ever since they started doing that crap, I haven't kept up very well at all.
I'm the same.
As soon as I began to see that, it just killed it for me. I mean, WWE sucks altogether no matter what, and it really sucks now to me.
I don't know. There's some humorous parts to it now.
At times, but
it's just like I can't believe they did this. It's like watching. It really is.
I appreciate now the times they get cinematic with it. For example, the Firefly Funhouse match and the Boneyard match. We know that this is all, or maybe not every person knows. Maybe the casual fan doesn't know, but as everyone likes to bring up. But if you like wrestling, you probably follow some reports or dirt sheets or something, and that there's some of it that's going to be pre-recorded, especially with what's going on now, with the fact that there's a lot of places that are no longer letting people even perform, even for no audience. So because the amount of production crew that goes into producing a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown or an NXT or even an AEW Dynamite, an Impact, etc., is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a TV production crew, and to have that many people around each other in close proximity, like they need to be setting everything up and all that, is against this whole social distancing thing. So we know a lot of stuff's recorded. We know a lot of this stuff is predetermined, etc. So when they take it that extra step, to me, that's how they make up for a lot of it and make it more interesting. Because then for the cinematic spots, you don't need the audience. Because it's no longer about watching a live wrestling match or in front of you. It's about enjoying this short film or this piece.
They could totally be doing that on Raw and SmackDown right now, in my opinion. That could be half the show instead of just working the same people all night long, 2 or 3 matches, which I think it's great that they're finally using people. But I think they can do the cinematic stuff right now and really expand.
I mean, it's not like because of this they're using that many different people than they would be. I think, for an example, going back to the SmackDown Women's Division, I think Lacey Evans would be in no matter what.
Oh yeah,
because they're real high on her. but I think maybe this has been a nice opportunity for Tamina.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. I've always liked Tamina.
Same here.
So, I mean, this to me, I'm stoked for. It's weird that she now has to be forced to be the face against Sasha and Bailey, because her being the monster heel of the women's division, like, to me, she has always been more imposing than a lot of the other big women, for example, Nia Jax.
Right.
Because I like how Tamina, for a long time, never really spoke, was just more of like the quiet, sort of brooding enforcer.
Right.
That worked.
In that role a lot.
So now as a face, because now she's the face against Sasha and Bailey.
Yeah. Which I think if you're a casual fan passing through and you've watched sporadically, you're not going to know Tamina's the face.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no face response. So, if you're flipping channels, there's no reason to stop. There's, and I think that's kind of detrimental to what they're doing right now. But like back to people getting chances now. I mean, I've seen more of Akira Tozawa in the last month or two than I have in years.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he used as enhancement, but super props to him being the guy that's out there.
Yeah.
The
power of Tozawa. I've always loved Tozawa too.
Yeah.
So that I'm stoked about. I'm really excited about the fact that the NXT cruiserweight tournament sort of thing that's being run sort of like a best of Super Juniors, where it's two blocks and each of the people in the two blocks fight each other until there's one winner for each. Real familiar for Kushida.
Right.
Who's also in that tournament as well. Drake Maverick in it, and he recently, I think,
drained.
I think he won.
Did he win?
He won his last match against Tony Nese.
I think it'll be interesting to see where they go with it.
If the whole Drake Maverick thing has turned out to be a total work,
it's possible.
Then I will be like.
It's also possible they decided to give him a new contract because they see how popular he is, the outcry. It's hard to say.
No, I was very sad when I saw that release. That release specifically hit me really hard because I thought about all the times where Drake Maverick humiliated himself on television for the WWE. And I was just like, come on, man, that guy, you guys film stuff at his wedding. At his wedding. Right. His actual wedding.
I think the one that hit me the most, and I can pretty much verify it also for John.
When he pissed himself?
Just his response was Eric Rowan.
Oh, like, yeah.
What? They finally using this guy. He's getting a little bit of push, storylines. And then out of the blue, really, it's like, oh, Eric Rowan's gone. Like, did not see that coming.
That one, I was very blown away, but I was glad to see it.
Yeah.
Simply because he's one that I have always felt should get a good run, and he's not going to get it here. Yeah, my mount fell, so it's not quite staying too well.
Yeah, I mean, I expected the Ascension, of course, the Revival, expected Harper, expected a lot of them. But Rowan, I didn't expect.
Yeah, I mean, they just gave him the weird spider thing on TV.
Yeah, that was weird.
Just gave it to him.
Maybe that was the nail in the coffin. Like, geez, I know we gave you this spider gimmick, but way not to make it work.
It's like, Here, give him this great golden idea spider gimmick. He can't make that work. Obviously, no talent.
You're fired.
Maybe that's okay. So everyone also went through and was like, all these people, AEW should sign all these people, blah blah blah. I disagree with most of that, but I would not mind seeing Rowan go to AEW with Harper, aka Brody Lee. Because they've worked together for so long, and they just look good together as a team.
Bringing him in just black trunks and a mask as like Uno
You have said that for so long. Yep.
It would be so great. It'd be so great. And I mean, he's huge. He's like 6'8". I'm not sure if anybody over there is 6'8". I think Archer maybe is 6'7", 6'6" legit. Lucha Dragon, I think 6'5". Of course, Hager's, I think 6'5". So I mean, if they brought in Rowan, dude, he'd look like a monster.
That is true.
I think we know Zack Ryder's going to show up over there.
I don't know. I mean,
him and Cody, best friends.
I know. I wouldn't mind it, but I've been talking about this with some other people, and I've been thinking about it too. I don't think I'd make that jump immediate. I think I would like to see Zack Ryder. If I could pick a promotion first, MLW. Because MLW does some kind of kooky shit.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be fun.
With Ryder, I don't see him going anywhere unless it's a place that he can get that hyped into. Because I mean, he was a WWE guy through and through. If he hadn't been fired, he'd never left.
Yeah.
So
that was another one that hurt me because I was like, this guy is like,
he's been there for so long.
Yeah. And he's another person that was like, he stuck by you guys.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we know he can probably get himself over. I would like to see him go there just to see what he can do. I think him and Cody being as best friends as they are, I think we may eventually see him come over there. I don't know what spot they'd have for him. Like Rowan, he's going to be a big monster. Ryder, I don't know what they could do with him. A lot of the guys. I mean, we know Revival's probably going to end up over there. I'd love to see a bunch of others go. I wouldn't even mind seeing Ascension show up there, change their gimmick up or something. Since AEW is all about tag teams, really.
Yeah.
No way.
I wouldn't mind the Ascension going to Impact. I would like some bigger tag teams in Impact because right now, Impact. I mean, they have potential for tag teams, but losing LAX was huge.
That's what I was going to say about Jose rebooting LAX over there. I don't know.
It was such a huge tangible void when they left because they were such a big part of the tag team division over in Impact that like once they went to AEW or once their contract went up and they dropped the belts to the North and all that, it just sucked the air out of their tag team division because Lucha Brothers are now more in AEW as well.
Right.
They're no longer performing as much in Impact, so that just both of them just totally.
You still have Hernandez over there. I'm not sure if Homicide's still on Impact or not. But
I haven't seen Homicide in a while. I haven't seen Hernandez in a while either.
Homicide's on NWA actually.
That's right. Yeah, I am so behind on Power.
NWA. Hernandez recently fought Elgin and Moose.
Fuck Elgin.
In some weird angle they have going on with the TNA title. Moose has brought back the TNA Heavyweight Championship.
I saw that.
Tessa being the Impact Heavyweight Champion. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But I mean, Hernandez is there. You could reboot with bring in Jose. You have Hernandez. Conan's there. Just start rebooting LAX again. I mean, they've done it before, so I think it's possible. No Way Jose is a huge dude, and I think he could get and he could shine in some place like Impact Wrestling.
I would love to see him not do a goofy gimmick because he's so huge.
Oh, it'd be great. Him and LAX really have that serious side. I'd be all for it.
Yeah, I would love it. I would love the North to have new blood to go against.
Joe Hennig, Curtis Axel. I'd love to see him show up in Impact.
Oh man, you'll appreciate this joke that I made. You will, because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh man, the chains really are off.
The chains are off. That's the first thing I posted. I was like, oh man, that one caught me off guard too.
I know.
Good for some of these guys where they're negotiated whatever buyout of their contracts. Some of them have 90-day clauses, some of them don't.
I read that Drake Maverick is being they're trying to give him work up until the end of his 90-day non-compete clause. And then once he is released, once that's up, then he can go anywhere afterwards.
Yeah.
And doesn't have to worry about it.
It's going to be interesting. I think my most exciting following of this is probably Carl Anderson.
Yeah, he immediately went back to Machine Gun.
Yep, he's like, Machine Gun's back, baby. So it looks like they're going to go to New Japan. I don't know. It may just be a facade. Maybe they're going to go to Impact. Maybe they're going to go to AEW. I don't know. I mean, you could take it any which way.
So Tama Tonga, not to go too far off the rails, but Tama Tonga has a podcast now called Tama's Island.
Yeah, I haven't listened yet.
And he just posted on Monday another interview that he had with Carl Anderson.
Nice. I was to catch that.
And from what I understand, the Bullet Club Beach Party that didn't happen, that was supposed to happen, there were supposed to be 3 special guests that they weren't going to advertise and were just going to show up. Because, I mean, technically they probably couldn't advertise it, but it was supposed to be Gallows and Anderson and Finn Balor.
I was going to say it had to be Balor.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're all really, really good friends still, They still go the weddings and stuff together.
Oh, yeah. Anytime they go to Japan, they visit each other.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Interesting to note. I mean, Anderson returning to Bullet Club would be a huge ordeal. I mean, it really
would be dope, man.
It would.
Because to this day, my favorite call on Bullet Club is when they turned on Styles, right? As Styles was leaving. Young Bucks turned on Styles, led by Kenny and all that. And I just remember, I want to say it was Kevin Kelly yelling, "Machine Gun wants answers!" As he runs in, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" Machine Gun wants answers. And I was like, this is the greatest thing.
They're yelling at each other in the ring.
It was so good.
Yeah, it'd be great. I think it would be a huge return. But it's also interesting to note, you have Luke Gallows, Doc Gallows now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm glad I went back to Doc. I missed Doc.
Trademarking the name Sex Ferguson. So maybe we see Sex Ferguson turn up somewhere.
I would be totally fine with that.
I would too, because it would show more character.
Wouldn't that be a hilarious fuck you to the WWE? They didn't trademark that name, so he went out and did it.
To me, the one place that you could have that name show up is Impact Wrestling.
I don't know. I think NWA, you could do it.
You could probably do it in NWA too, yeah. Yeah, because it's all on YouTube. But, I mean, have him show up on Impact Wrestling, and I mean, you immediately have a program with somebody who's kind of anti that right now, in Joey Ryan. And
yeah,
you know, I know that's not a huge program for some, but Joey's pretty good. You know, I mean, as much as I enjoy what Joey Ryan does outside of the major promotions, what he's been doing in Impact has worked as well too.
and him and a few other people on Impact have been really, and I hate to frame it in this way, but they've been really, carrying that company on their back lately.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. I'm assuming they'll probably go the same place. It's also good to note that they pretty much had a done deal with TNA Impact Wrestling before Styles brought the Good Brothers into WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they reached out immediately.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I'm positive you're right.
I think, I'd love to see all these guys turn up in AEW, and just because we know they're good workers.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's not realistic. A couple of them, sure, but I don't expect more than that. The one that I would love to see Heath Slater turn up as a new Bullet Club member.
Ooh, that's interesting. That is not something that crossed my mind at all, but I would not be against it.
I could see that, but I never really would have thought of that.
You have this country boy from West Virginia. I mean, what's more gaijin and guns than Heath Slater's?
What's more gaijin and guns?
I mean, think about it. Him coming out and pulling off a mask, and it's Heath Slater, and he's like, "Woo, baby!"
That would be hilarious.
It'd be great. Make it happen, New Japan.
Do it. Man, now I love that idea, actually.
It would be awesome. It really would.
That should be his first piece of merch for Bullet Club. Gaijin and guns. Baby.
But of course, we had the interaction between Cody and Heath. Somebody asked, if all these guys has been released, what about Heath Slater? And he said, nope, that's a no. And of course, Heath, replied on Twitter. He's like, what? No. And Cody said, it was all in jest. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there that Heath is going to go to AEW. I don't know. And I think you have to look at financials too. Who would be cheaper to bring in? Who are you going to get the most out of? A Zack Ryder and Heath Slater, or Anderson and Gallows? I mean, we know which one's going to cost you more.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Gallows and Anderson, if I had to pick, I would love for them to go back to New Japan. Like, if I had an ideal, it would be New Japan. Especially because I would love to see them be the second tag team into Bullet, or not the second tag team, but right now the only real tag team in Bullet Club is God, who I love. They're my favorite tag team, obviously, but I would love to see Bullet Club just really dominate like how they used to.
See, for me, it would depend. I would love to see Carl Anderson go on a singles run. Whether it's Japan or AEW or NWA, I would really like to see a singles run for the Machine Gun. And the same for Gallows, really. I mean, you bring in Gallows, like I said about Eric Rowan. Gallows is a big dude. I don't know if you saw the build up to the Boneyard match, but Undertaker come out there, Gallows has got like 3 inches on him now.
Yeah.
Undertaker shrunk. So if he's, I don't know, what, 6'6", 6'7" now? I mean, Gallows is a big dude.
Yeah.
He's never wrestled a big man's match per se. Like, they don't treat him like the big man. But man, you get him out there, he's a big guy. They should treat him like a big man finally. Give him that Kane role that, even if you don't want to make him be like the Undertaker, Sid, Kane, any of the big dudes, let him go out there and throw down. I think he's really talented. I mean, we've seen that he can work a crowd.
Yeah.
So, I would like to see singles runs from them both, to be honest.
Fair enough.
And if they went to New Japan and you had Carl run singles, even if you wanted to tag Gallows, Hikuleo.
Yeah, I was going to say him.
Talk about Twin Towers. I mean, those two dudes would be huge against anybody else.
And it would be nice because then Hikuleo would get that experience of working with someone.
With a big man, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. Because he's got a big future.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hikuleo. As, the third member unofficially of GOD.
Right. We're talking about Hikuleo, not you. I mean, you're not the third member of GOD.
I know.
Be.
Okay.
You could be.
I'm too short.
Well, you could be the heater.
I'll tag with Yujiro.
You could be heater. You could be the heater.
That's already Jado. Master heater.
You can replace him. Come on.
I can't replace Jado. I'll tag team.
You're my Jado.
Aw. Thanks. I got the kendo stick. Got your back, dog. I'll tag team with Yujiro. That'll be the plan.
Oh, what else wrestling news is out there? Speaking of Japan, Wrestle One's closed their doors.
Yeah, I saw that. A lot of people from Wrestle One have started to show up or have announced to be signed to other rosters. I think All Japan and Noah got the most of them. I think DDT might have gotten a couple.
Curious as to WWE wants that foot in Japan. Maybe not now, but they did. If we're going to see something there with Muto, I mean, that's the man. If you want your foot in, bring him in on your roster. I think Muto showed interest before as well. So that could be their starting point if they can get their feet back under them. Let's just talk about that for a moment. WWE, a lot of people are adamant that WWE will never falter. But I would just like to bring to attention that they have a huge lawsuit against them right now. And I know they always have lawsuits against them. But this one is their own shareholders, their investors, are suing them because apparently Vince and everybody lied to them about the deals going down with Saudi Arabia, how the company was doing, and different things like that. And we're looking at a multi-million-dollar lawsuit hitting them. So I'm very curious what this next year is going to bring for WWE, especially when we see Vince McMahon taking loans out against his shares. We see Kevin Dunn dropping $1 million in shares. A lot of guys kind of selling a bit of their stock out of the company, and I don't know if that's just a little financial security for themselves in this pandemic, or if they're going, well, let me take out $1 million and invest it somewhere else just in case stock crashes again. Because when they fired everybody, their stock went back up.
Yeah.
Investors, okay, you've lightened the load some.
Yeah. They fired Briscoe.
Furloughed.
Is it technically furloughed?
Technically, he's furloughed, but
okay.
I
just saw that headline and I was very upset. I was like, he's been there forever. Forever.
I think they furloughed Briscoe because they don't want him going to an AEW or an Impact or NWA
or anywhere else.
Not just the name value, but the experience he brings to the table. I mean, look at Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Vince and Arn had always kind of been at one another, but Arn was like one of the more powerful guys in the company, really.
And rightfully so. He's Arn Anderson.
Yeah, creative-wise, I mean, that's a huge loss when they let him go. I mean, that was a while back now, but now he's in AEW, and I mean, you cannot replace experience. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure on WWE's future at this point. I mean, we may see a very slimmed down product from them. I would not be surprised if we go back to one roster. Just because, I mean, you know, right now it's fine because they can do with a small roster right now and work around it where they're like, okay, well, hey, Apollo Crews versus Andrade.
Oh, Apollo Crews. Oh, that hurt me.
Yeah, after the six-man.
That broke my heart. It did. Because you know I love him.
I do too. I'm very happy that he's getting his shot now, and it wasn't let go. So somebody.
I was like, but he's not, because he hurt his legs. You know that, right?
He'll get his shot. I mean, he's getting used. So
true, but still, oh man, like I teared up when they were just like, oh, because of leg injury that he got from this match, he can't be in the Money in the Bank, and I was like,
right. I hear this is a build-up for a big heel turn. I don't know. Maybe.
They gotta bring. They should just. You know what they should do? Okay, you know what they should do? They should unite the three from Dragon Gate: Tozawa, Ricochet, and Apollo Crews. They had such a good history in Dragon Gate. You know, their whole thing of being, you know, weird best friends. I loved that.
I'm really wondering if they're not going to bring him into Zelina Vega's little stable. I mean, we've seen weirder things happen in WWE.
Okay, let me just say, no disrespect to Zelina Vega or that stable, but this has turned into like a half Los Ingobernables, half Promociones Dorado, and it's just sort of like, it really became Promociones Dorado once Garza came in, because Garza was in Promociones Dorado in MLW.
It's like a truce.
Something.
Gang war, you know. You know, if we look at the table, I mean, you have Andrade as U.S. champion. You've got Rush and ROH as world champion, I believe.
Yeah.
You have Naito as IWGP and Intercontinental champion. So
I mean, CMLL still has La Bestia del Ring, and I think El Terrible as well. Yeah. So I mean, Ingobernables has been going worldwide.
Although I'm really sad if you look at New Japan right now. Of course, Naito's champ. Get the 6-man weight belts around.
You're sad. You're sad for Sanada. Is what's going on here.
Sanada doesn't have a title.
I know. Oh man, they did this photo shoot where it's like, you know, Naito has his 2 belts, Hiromu has his belt, Shingo, Evil, and Bushi have their belts. Shingo's got 2 belts because he's also never openweight champion as well as never openweight 6-man tag team champion. And then who's the one person without a belt? Sanada. And I was just like,
It's right here. I don't know if that's going to be something later on.
I've been really surprised because Sanada was the one I thought for sure was going to be the breakthrough star, like the big star out of LIJ after Naito. I really did.
And I wonder if they're not going to build toward Sanada going after one of Naito's belts.
Oh, that would hurt me. Ooh.
And Sanada leaving the group.
I mean, so Ibushi, after his couple of matches with Sanada, he played the tease too. He was like, you know, I've been in a couple of I've been in the ring with a couple of geniuses, and Sonata, I don't know why you feel like you need that group to help you. And I was just like,
yeah, I think the seeds are planted. We'll see what they do. I mean, New Japan usually follows through, but
New Japan also focuses on the long-term booking.
Yeah, I mean, we see what they did when like Kenny left, and that long-term booking got messed up, and it was like, put it on Jay White, because then it got him back on track.
Yeah, but it worked, and I mean, a lot of people made the argument. It's like, oh well, Jay White's the other heel gaijin. I mean, like Kenny at that point wasn't really a heel,
right?
So, it's not really like you're going from one heel to another. You're just going from one gaijin to another. And I get it, because who else would you be able to put it on at that time? Jay White was starting to get real hot.
Yeah.
And that, I think, helped, because, oh man, the heat that he gave it, like, I'm right.
Yep.
That just not only propelled him and Bullet Club, but it made the belt feel special again.
It did,
Not to say that it didn't feel special before or anything like that, but to have that huge sort of upset and be like, holy crap. Jay White took it.
Would you have Sonata face or heel? Because, I mean, Naito's super popular.
Yeah. But Naito also still sticks pretty heelish.
Yeah.
There's sometimes where he's faced, like, with, I mean, he's a dick whenever he has the IC championship.
At the same time, Suzuki-gun is depleted. So do you have Sonata jump ship with a mentor like Suzuki and become a top heel?
Oh my god.
Suzuki's getting old too.
Suzuki is getting old.
So I mean, him in that Jado role outside.
I don't know. I think you'd have to see how the bad blood between Sonata and ZSJ will pan out, because they've had a couple of series of matches too, where both were.
I mean, Sonata's really gone toe to toe with Suzuki-gun before, so he's had big feuds with them. But you could also have that come out as an amount of respect. Maybe you have a storyline where Suzuki is choosing his successor. You have Sonata coming in as that, and turning on LIJ. I don't know.
Turn LIJ face. Just finally bite the bullet and turn them face.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what would happen.
They're so popular anyway. Especially Naito. I'd say Evil. Shingo. This guy's the future of the company. I mean, really.
And Hiromu.
Yeah.
Hiromu, is honestly probably their most popular junior heavyweight.
They teased outside of Hiromu and Naito too.
Yeah, I mean, the anniversary show was supposed to, has traditionally been the heavyweight versus the junior heavyweight. It's been that, for years. I think it's been that since the start of the anniversary show.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but yeah. And so they're teasing that, and I was so stoked for it. I have that shirt. I bought that shirt off Pro Wrestling Tees where it's, the Time Bomb versus Destino.
It'll be interesting. I think wrestling-wise, I'm more anticipating what's going to happen with New Japan than anything. Next will be WWE. I don't know. Like I said, I'm interested to see where they'll be this time next year. Will they rebound? will we just see a slimline product. Vince has even said that he doesn't see them doing as much like house shows and whatnot once the pandemic's over. Like, he doesn't really see them returning to that avenue. So,
which is a bummer, because
yeah,
that's the only way I get to see WWE live.
That's their bread and butter. How do you do contracts when you're telling guys, okay, you're not going to get used ever? Because I mean, a lot of guys, that's how they would go house shows, and that's how they'd make their money, because they weren't on Raw or SmackDown.
I mean, house shows also make a decent amount of money because you don't have to pay as much. Yeah, you get merchandise and all that, but you also don't have to pay for the production crew. Right. For as much of the production crew, you don't have to use as many resources.
Yeah, and you can
travel. The travel's rough for sure. Like having to ship stuff over everywhere is rough. But I mean, honestly, with the amount of money you make from ticket sales, merchandise, and all that, I can't imagine that you don't at least break even, if not make a profit.
Oh, I'd say you have to make profit. Because we like you see how when they come here, they make bank. You know.
Yeah, you know that because they make bank off of me. I'll buy that front row ticket. I'll buy every shirt I buy for me, I buy for my grandpa. So I'm walking out of there with at least 6 shirts, if not more.
There's the rumor, of course. It's not even a rumor. I mean, they're going to sell the network. There's the rumor that they're going to sell WWE as a whole. A lot of people don't believe that. I'm not sure. I don't believe the thought hasn't occurred, just because they went from we're going to sell network rights, pay-per-view rights, to suddenly we're selling the network. I don't know. I mean, before WWE released the most recent network upgrade, they were using the Disney platform. Before Disney Plus come out, they were using that. Of course, Fox and ESPN apparently wanting to get the rights to pay-per-views or the network, buying the network, and we know that they're owned by Disney. So I mean, there is a huge possibility Disney is looking to get into all this. They've got to rebound somewhere, and you know.
Can you imagine if Disney owns WWE?
It would be better.
I don't know.
Let's think about it.
Even if they turn it into a cartoon, it'd be better than what it is now.
Okay, so with Disney, my thing is it's gonna definitely cartoonize, in a sense, some of the more violent aspects of wrestling.
More than WWE already has?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you don't know?
Did they cartoonize Thanos?
I mean, look at what that. Let's not cross the streams too much, but let's look at Marvel movies. The blood in Marvel movies is like a little bit of blood smeared here, some coming from somebody's cut lip, maybe a scratch over here, maybe a cut on your arm. That,
doesn't do blood in general.
I mean, WWE doesn't usually do blood, but sometimes people get busted open.
Yeah, sometimes.
I think that would be heavily edited out.
I don't think it would.
I think it would.
I think they would look at their audience, and do whatever is going to make money. Honestly, if they think that blood's going to make money, then I think they would go back to that. But I think from a standpoint in general, if they're talking about blood, I think they're looking at more the workers' rights and staying healthy and whatnot. And I don't think they would do it in that regard.
Also, I think some gimmicks would be defanged, and that would make me upset.
Possibly, I don't know.
I don't think Baszler would be allowed to be as mean, and it wouldn't be the same to me because I love the whole the whole tap napper snapping.
I don't know. I don't think she would run out and bite somebody on the back of the neck.
I see. That was weird.
That was super weird.
But I also kind of loved it. But then they didn't explain it the right way. They were just like, who knows what I'm gonna do? I just felt like doing that. It's like that's the wrong way to go about this. You need to go like full like crazy cage fighter sort of thing. It's like you do what it takes to get ahead of your enemy.
Gangrel's waiting in the boiler room for her.
Yep.
I don't know.
And then they don't even have Becky Lynch sell it by coming out the next week with a bandage still on her neck.
Yeah.
I was like, did somebody forget? That wouldn't heal in a week.
WWE's not going to be worse for wear if a company like Disney buys them out. Just from storyline perspective, plus Disney follows they follow storytelling guidelines. They follow the hero's journey. So if anything, I think the storytelling will get better, even if it's tamed down different ways. So I think they're going to look at it and go, okay, we gotta tell these stories instead of 2 weeks in and you just drop the storyline like Vince always does. It's like, I'm tired of that guy. Who is he? You can't even tell him Southern accent. God damn it. So I don't know. It could have happened, maybe. Who knows? Vince, if this lawsuit goes bad, they may need money. And it's either going to be out of WWE's pocket or it's going to be out of Vince's pocket. And all of Vince's money is tied up in WWE pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's Vince, it's Stephanie, it's Shane, it's Triple H, it's George Barrios, who's no longer there, and a couple other big names administration-wise that are being sued. So, yeah, I don't know. We may see some sort of booster in this process. I mean, it'll probably be sometime this month we may hear more, because I think they have left it open until May. Well, I think yesterday actually it was like the last minute to get in on the lawsuit for investors or whatnot. So could get really crazy. I think it's a huge thing.
I mean, XFL also declared bankruptcy.
Yes, Vince lost a humongous amount of money, his own money.
Did not take long. That's for damn sure.
Well, I mean, it was just this pandemic. I think Vince would still push for it.
Yeah, I do feel bad for all the people involved that are now suddenly like they signed on this brand new thing. They're like signed 5-year contracts or however long, I don't know.
Right.
Because I'm sure it was more than just season by season. Right. Usually for that kind of stuff, they sign you for a couple of years.
But I think the thing is that they only had one season TV-wise. And then it was like at the end of the season, they would like, okay, we'll re-up or whatever. And, of course, that's not going to happen now because you can't put on shows. So, therefore, what can you do? Whereas WWE, of course, you can do in-studio stuff. But XFL was it killed it. Absolutely. I mean, this was the gamble, and Vince once again lost that gamble with XFL.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a good businessman, maybe he's not, but let's face the facts is that WWF was laid in his lap. Essentially, I know he bought out his father, but all the ingredients were there. He didn't have to build a company. He come in, bought one, and he also bought guys like
everyone
Mr.
that was
Fuji,
helping to maintain it. Yeah.
All the guys who were so instrumental in wrestling in general was there already for him. Fuji's gone on shoot interviews before saying how when Vince would leave, they go up and they erase the booking board and rewrite the card for the show, and then they put on the show. And Vince he'd come in for the meeting and then he'd leave. And of course, it's not like that now.
Yeah.
But he has people in
now
place
where
now.
Everything is televised or recorded or anything, so you can't risk doing anything like that because
Right.
you know it'll come back to bite you in the ass.
But then look at the difference in product too.
Yeah.
Product, talent, everything. Not that they don't have super talented guys, but they don't have as knowledgeable, I would say, as
or experienced even.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Vince is also, they have to be looking at the AEW model. I don't want to give props to them, but AEW come into the business, they knew they were having to change it. They have to do something different, and they couldn't do the WWE model. They're doing where some of the lower talent can go out and get the experience they need and work other places. As long as AEW is their primary focus, they can still go out and work other places. Guys like Marco Stunt, Jungle Boy, they can go out and they can work wherever, get the experience they need, and still be on Wednesday nights. And you're not doing house shows and all this other stuff. You're doing like one program a week.
Which probably is definitely cost efficient. Plus, AEW also has, I know you're not a big fan of the Young Bucks, but you can't deny they're really smart with how they market themselves. They're genius at it. I even have Young Bucks shirts, and they're not even my favorite tag team. They're not even in my top 5 favorite tag teams, and I have Young Bucks stuff.
I absolutely respect what they've done in wrestling, especially merchandise-wise, how they built an empire and sold themselves, which, what more can you do as a wrestler?
Also pushed tag team wrestling, which has always been my favorite stuff.
Yep.
And really made people take it seriously and respect it again.
So the irony that the Young Bucks put wrestling back on the map. Not saying anything against the Young Bucks, but some of their better matches have been had in AEW, I think, than elsewhere, but they're still super spotty.
Well, yeah, but I think that's by design.
I think it is.
I think they call themselves out on it. But they're the hook. That's what I realized, is they're the hook. People like to see, if you don't know what's going on and you just see those spots, you're just like, holy crap, this is cool. And then you slowly get more and more into it, so that once the storytelling's introduced, you're already on the hook. Now you're invested. Sometimes you'll be like, man, these Young Bucks are the people I want to cheer for. So let's go Young Bucks. Sometimes you end up getting way into it and seeing the other side of the story. Fuck the Young Bucks. But that's to me what I've come to realize is by talking to all these people that have gotten back into wrestling after years, or turned to Ring of Honor back when they were in Ring of Honor, or New Japan, or AEW once they were done with WWE. There's always a hook, and for a lot of people, I didn't realize this because I can't say it was the same for me, but for a lot of people, it was the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I think we'll notice with AEW is that the Bucks, Kenny, and Cody have slowed away from that spotlight. Cody's down there; he's still kind of the franchise, but definitely Kenny and the Bucks have kind of slid away a little bit. And I think that's good. It's smart business. You tune in for them, but then you realize, oh, I like this guy, I like that guy.
This is cool tag team. This is cool. Yeah.
I think with the Bucks too, the one thing that's gotten me was I think Nick is the better worker, but I think Matt is smarter. And just the little things he does, that it kind of teeters on breaking that fourth wall without breaking it. And he'll say little things that make you laugh as a fan. Like if it's in the middle of a match, if it's in somebody else's match, that he's just at ringside.
Matt's the more emotional one in the match, like in the match itself, you'll see Matt be the one to, and I remember this because I loved it. It was Golden Lovers versus Young Bucks. It's one of the shows over in California. And they had, the grudge match between the Golden Lovers and the Young Bucks. And Kenny's got Matt up on him, going for the one-winged angel. They cut open the tension. And Matt's just yelling, just do it, or like, what have you already broke my heart, just do it. And I was just like, this is so good, Yeah. Seeing that emotion in him and like realizing that to him, this is the final backstab from a man he thought was his best friend, that broke his heart. He's like, just end me already. We know you want to. We know I didn't matter to you. So what's stopping you? That whole thing, like, I thought that was beautiful. And to me, it shows that they have a really good sense of storytelling and in-ring psychology as far as reaction and selling things. Maybe might not come across the same as, some of their more spot-ish moves, but it's all a lot more thought through than I think some people give them credit for.
I think what we're really going to see them shine is when the revival, or as I think they're going to be called the Revolt now, when they show up. I think we're going to see some classic matches. And I think we're going to see them really shine them up. And then probably after that feud, we'll see the Bucks step away. Maybe singles runs, but I think, they're kind of
I don't know.
At the end already. I think that's been their game plan, is at this stage they're looking at stepping away.
Yeah, I mean, they both got a couple of kids each.
Yeah. I
think Nick just had another kid recently.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I think we'll see that big feud probably this year, and then maybe the team breakup.
I don't know if you'll see the Young Bucks break up. I mean,
I think we'll get a Young Bucks feud before it's said and done.
I
think we'll see Matt and Nick fighting each other. I don't know who would go heel. I want to say Nick.
Matt.
I want to say Nick just because it'd be obvious it's Matt.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Matt's, like you said, the more emotional of the two.
Yeah.
So I can see him selling more. What a great way to do it would be Nick joining the inner circle.
Oh.
Get that rub from Jericho.
I might be okay with that. I don't know yet. I haven't committed to it, but I might be okay with that.
Yeah. It's good shit, damn it.
It's good shit.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting, but to me, I like the fact that the Young Bucks have always sold themselves as the Young Bucks. You know what I mean? It's never been Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson. It's always been Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Sort of like Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
Right.
Which that would be a feud that would break my heart as well, but I don't want.
But I think we'll see a singles run, and then we'll see a reunification of sorts, and then that'll be the end of it for probably Matt at least. I think Matt really, he's looking at the end. And I mean, they're vice presidents now. They have all these other duties and whatnot.
Yeah, they've made it as much as a person can make it, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Triple H.
Yeah, but I mean, I am glad that because I noticed that too. Because at first I was like, oh, watch, they're going to be the first champions for their promotion, and it was none of them.
Right. Yeah.
It was Jericho, which I thought was a smart move, even though it took me a second to come around to the fact that it was going to be Jericho. But once it was Hangman versus Jericho, I knew it was going to be Jericho.
Yeah.
Like I knew.
I hopes it'd be Hangman, but it's too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm sad they gave it to Mox so soon because, man, that should have been at a bigger pay-per-view, I feel. The payoff for that would have been huge if they had it at a bigger show.
Yeah.
And the timing was just weird because then that was when places were already starting to do travel restrictions. So a lot of people that had tickets to that show couldn't actually go to that show. It was in tight.
I think if this was the 80s, even the 90s, we would see Cody as champion already. Just simply because nobody would know, he's vice president or whatever. So we would probably see Cody as champ. Much like, Ric Flair was booking the shows and whatnot, and he was world champion. So I think today, though, because it's looked at negatively, the Booker's the champ, Cody being the champion as vice president would be frowned upon. It brings a stigma. So I think that's one reason why we don't see Cody as champion.
Well, I think Cody's also smart enough to realize that people care more about him in the chase rather than at the finish line.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work that way. Some people really take to being a champ, and I think Cody's realized that his money's in the chase more than anything else. But when he's being a face.
It's like Sting. He was the franchise. I see Cody as the franchise of the company.
Oh, I agree.
Would chase, and then he'd win it, and then of course you had to figure out a way to get it off of him, so he could chase again.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like the opposite of Flair. Flair was always the heel, and you'd bring in that hot young babyface to chase it, and then whichever one would win it, like you say Steamboat. 3 months later, you take it off of him. You bring in Sting, chases it. You bring in Wyndham, chases it. Whoever, and I think. You really have to do that, but you have to have a big heel, which I think is why they have Jericho. The question is, who's going to take it off Mox?
Yeah, that's my question. Who
at some point,
can? You need to have it be also another monster heel, which makes me feel like MJF?
Maybe.
With the help of Wardlow?
I wouldn't say the biggest heel over there right now, but I think the most well-played heel, you got to look at Brody Lee.
I don't feel like he's being received as much as a heel, though, by the audience. It's hard to tell now that there's no audience.
Right. But man, his actions in the ring just ooze heel.
He's so good, man. He's so good. You've been saying this for years,
What can I say? But I think MJF would be a good choice as well. I think you just have to really get behind him, get him out there, and get some big wins. They got a lot of guys they could go with. It just, you just got to get that momentum and that heat. You got to have heat behind them. Otherwise, it's pointless.
I don't feel that they have a big enough heel right now. You did name off two that possibly could, but I just don't feel that they're at that point yet.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to get them ready.
Exactly. So I don't really see it making sense for him to drop the belt anytime soon.
No. You would have to look at it December, if they can really get a good program and get some guys a lot of good heat.
Truly, so you know what I wanted originally? When stuff started shutting down, they had Revolution and all that. I was like, who they should have? They should have somebody cheat him out of it. Or cheat him out of the win. And I was like, it should be MJF.
Oh, yeah.
Because MJF is a heel that can unite everybody else against him.
It's true. Yeah.
That was my dream booking. Is MJF says, so I had a talk with one of the other executive vice presidents and say, I can trade in this beautiful ring for a title shot at any time.
I'd be all for it. I think that's absolutely possible.
And then not? Just have him and Wardlow run around with that championship belt. It would be great now that everything's closed because there's no excitement in these big, huge title matches.
Yeah.
That they're having. Like.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest problems with that is that Wardlow isn't as experienced as I'd like him to be.
Wardlow, I think, has less experience than MJF.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious that now MJF is the one that's sort of the one he's hitched his wagon to.
Yeah. We're getting the 411, what it's like being Trucker Kyle here.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. It's nice to be outside for a change.
Well, I'm probably gonna have to wrap it up here myself.
Yeah, it is about 7:30, so.
Yeah.
It's gonna be people are gonna be waking up soon.
Yeah. My adventure begins.
Her adventure begins.
Let me tell you, my 10-month-old has been doing Mongolian chops for like the last 4 months.
Wow.
And
teaching him young.
He's been pulling that Tenzin card out. So between that and the overhand chops, he'd be getting it. I got punched in the face last night, in the middle of sleep, just what the hell, man? Start them young, right?
You got it.
He'll be IWGP heavyweight champ in no time.
I don't doubt it at all.
We will live our dreams vicariously through your sons.
Yeah. The other one will be Impact heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We breed champions here. All right. Well, I'm signing out.
Yeah.
I got nothing else for you.
I mean, what else is there?
Especially after that, tour Kyle just gave us. Can't top that.
You got it. Anytime.
Yes.
I got nothing to leave with.
I'm gonna get you an air horn one day, and you just.
That's mine.
There you go.
Oh, I'm just signing out. Just go sign out.
All right. This is the end of Midcard Mana for today. This is the Loose Cannon. Bang bang. Thanks for stopping by, Trucker Kyle. I appreciate
Anytime.
it. We might do this every Wednesday. We'll see. So I'm glad that it won't just be me and Sam yelling at each other.
There you go.
I will be posting this. I will do it. I'm saying it on this so that I hold myself to it. Yeah. This is Midcard Mana for the first time in like a year and a half.